Hello, what is going on? It's Tailster here, and today the video is apparent as it's in the title. I am going to be reviewing Friday the 13th from the best to the worst. So without any further ado, let's get right into it. Friday the 13th. Now this one's last in me rankings because, quite frankly, I'm a Jason fan and Jason isn't in this film. And I got into Friday the 13th when Jason was around killing people with his machete and stuff like that. The film's really good. I've seen it a few times, and it obviously started the whole boost of sequels straight after. Pamela Voorhees being the killer going around, but no one knew who it was, and killing loads of camp counsellors. I thought it was great. As a viewer watching the film, you're just trying to decipher and find out who the killer is, which I suppose is good. If you've never seen it before, it'd be quite interesting to watch. But this is why it's quite far back. It is a good film, but just doesn't have Jason in, and Friday the 13th have to have Jason in my opinion, for my rankings. Friday the 13th, the remake. Oh, it just totally took away from Jason being Jason. He's meant to be a person that goes around stalking and chasing people and does not really have any thoughts of common sense, as far as I know from watching the earlier films. But this Jason is like a predator in the woods. He's putting traps, he's living underground, and he's catching people in the traps and using them as prey, slashing them up about. Just that's not the Jason that I love and remember from the older films, so I wasn't that keen on that film for that. There's a great kill with the bean bags. No, sleeping bags. The sleeping bags where, I think it was at the start of the film, holding a sleeping bag with someone in it over a campfire and burning someone pretty much to death in that. I thought that was very inventive and very good. Very, very creepy, the thought of something like that. But that was awesome. It's a good film, just I think I just like retro things and 80s, 90s kind of twists in films where the newer stuff just seems to go for jump scares. That seems to be a lot of the trend for horror films, where everything's just jump scares, you know, like kind of thing like that. Yeah, fine, but it's not scary and it's easy to put into a film. It's like, right, okay, waiting for this next loud sound. Wow, that's scary. But anyway, Friday the 13th, that's that one out of the way. Jason X. Now this is watchable as a film, that's why it's further down in the rankings for this. I love the kill where he grabs the woman and puts in cryogenic stuff, freezes all of her face, grabs a hole, smashes her head off the cabinet, desk, drawer, table, let's just go with table, and it just smashes into pieces. That is an awesome kill. I'm not sure if I'm happy about the nanotechnology at the end and it made it into Uber Jason. He does look badass and really cool, but once again, it's just, I laughed a little bit when I'd seen this. But, you know, I think it's an alright film. It's watchable. I can go back and watch it a few times. It's something that I always tend to go back to. But Jason in Space, need I say any more? It's good, it's worth a watch. I would definitely check that out. Jason Goes to Hell. This is like, I compare this to Halloween 3 out of the franchise of all the other Halloweens. It's kind of like a standalone thing because in this film, Jason was hardly ever in it. He was in at the start and we're like, action straight away, let's go, I'm ready for this, I'm sorted. And then he gets blown up. So from then, you're like, where's this film gonna go? And basically Jason is this little devil dog shitty monster that climbs into other people's bodies to possess other people, and the other people go around killing. Friday the 13th without Jason, it's not a Friday the 13th. At the end, it was good because he did come back for I don't know how many minutes it was, but he was in the end of the film, and then he came back and ended up getting killed again by this dagger from Duke that apparently is a sacred dagger that used kills him, which we've never known anything about that in the franchise just until this film, so that was news. And then he goes in underground, gets grabbed by all the demon hands, demon monsters, and then at the end Freddy's glove comes up and pulls him back under, and that's awesome. That makes up for all of the film. That's why I kind of like it, because I just love watching that at the end, and to obviously know that that would spiral into Freddy v Jason many years later, which I'm guessing they weren't expecting it to be that long to do it, but obviously getting all the script right and making sure that it was right was obviously part of the plan. Freddy v Jason. Awesome film. Went to the cinema years ago to watch this. Just the music in this film's awesome. I love it. Rock. I just love rock music. It just tingles. I mean, God. Yes, it does. But the film altogether, I thought was really well done. Obviously, Freddy was awesome in it. I wasn't sure about Jason, because Jason just wasn't like the Jason that I remembered from the older films, and they went with a different direction, and he looked so much bigger. But then his facial, like, and his hockey mask with his eyes showing and stuff, it made him look like a sympathetic character, and you don't want Jason to be someone that you feel sympathetic for. It was a bit annoying that they didn't cast Kane Hodder to continue on. I've watched documentaries about it and I still don't understand why they didn't continue, because it would be massive for fans, because the fans love Kane Hodder from all over films. They just went with a whole new thing. Jason, I'm not that keen on the Jason in this, but altogether as a film, it's a really good film and definitely worth a watch if you've not seen it. It's one of the first crossovers that kind of spawned everything else that came after, but it's a good film. That is definitely one to watch. Friday the 13th Part 5. Now, for this film, the kills are awesome, just so inventive, just they are really good compared to like other films in the franchise. The only problem being that at the end you find out that it's not Jason and it's a copycat killer of Jason Voorhees. Anyone around the campus because he blames teenagers that are at this halfway home that have got issues and problems for the death of his son. And you obviously later on find this out just because one person that was in the halfway home had killed the guy that was his son. So the paramedic was literally the killer at the end of this. But the kills were so inventive, like, it was good. But obviously you might be able to tell the difference because the mask, it's like blue little dashes there instead of the red dashes, which is the original Jason that has that. But I think they were trying to start it off a new beginning because, well, it's obviously called a new beginning, so that'll be why that is. But trying to continue the franchise on because obviously they did say it was the final chapter on the last one. But, you know. But Halloween 5, yeah, definitely one of my favourites, apart from the end that you find out it's not Jason, which is kind of like a kind of thing. Friday the 13th Part 2. I like this film because it's kind of hillbilly Jason and he's running, so it's quite scary when a killer can actually run after you instead of zombie walk, but apparently get to someone really quickly, which, you know, happens in a lot of films. Michael Myers, to name one. But I just think it's a bit scary that someone's got a bit of pace and can run after you and literally kill you, as a serial killer does. He's got a potato sack over his head. I don't know if it's a potato sack or some kind of sack over his head with one eye hole. And actually, I find that quite creepy. It is quite creepy, that mask, if you call it like a mask. But for this purpose of this video, I'm going to call it a mask. It does look creepy, and I do like the hillbilly Jason kind of thing where he chases after people. He's got his pitchfork going round. I just think it's good. It's got a lot of good kills in that as well. So that's why that's them. I think I've just put it quite higher because I like the older films. It's kind of gets us nostalgic about horrors and stuff back in the day, even though I wasn't even old enough to watch this when I was younger and that, but you know. Friday the 13th Part 3. Like this film because it's got some mint disco music at the start of the film, and that theme is just like just cemented in my brain. It's so good. Don't know if it should be in a horror film, but it kind of fits and does. Bit of disco, horror, creepy music. But I suppose you know that was good. This is where he finds his mask, and I think that's awesome when he gets the mask. Runs a girl through the eye, which is cool. I think that was like a really good kill. When watching it, there was lots of gimmicky 3D scenes, obviously because it was Friday the 13th 3D, obviously. And there was lots of scenes where you could see where they were putting the 3D and that. And I think it was a massive gimmick probably, like back in the time it was a massive gimmick, but the 3D doesn't hold up now as much. So it's not as interesting. But apart from that, it's such an awesome film. Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood. This is great. It's kind of like Carrie meets Jason, because the character kind of has this, what's the word, telepathic kind of powers, and it's kind of like the film ends up as a face-off with Jason and this Carrie character. I think she's called Tina, I'm not quite sure, but this Carrie character, and it's good. I love the end scene in this because his mask opens up and you just see how pissed and angry he looks, which is awesome. and it's the scene just at the end. It's just well worth the watch.
And each other. You can't get the adrenaline pumping without the terror, good people.
Jason Takes Manhattan. I love this film. This is why it's so high up. Not many people like this film because the whole point they got duped that it was Jason Takes Manhattan, where it was pretty much Jason takes a ship, which apparently is Manhattan. Like, you get to Manhattan during like the last third of the film, which is, it's alright, because when it does get to the last third of the film, it's going around Manhattan. I think it's pretty cool. Obviously, there was loads of ideas about what they were going to do. They're going to go to Madison Square Garden and then have that boxing fight that they did on the top of a roof, but there, which would have been awesome. And loads of different places they were going to go to, but they just didn't have the budget to do all the things they wanted to do. So we got a third of Manhattan in it. But I still love it. I just think it's awesome. I like the 80s looking disco in the ship, where this girl's looking around and Jason just seems to be nearly near every door everywhere she looks, and the music in the background, and then it ends up being creepy music from the disco music. I think that's awesome. But this is definitely one of my favourite films, and I do watch it quite a lot. Friday the 13th Part 6. It's a bit funny because I think they've added a bit of tongue-in-cheek in this film, which is awesome. You can have a bit of a laugh at some of the stuff, the way they cut the stuff. I think it's really good. I like the way Jason looks in this one. I think it's pretty awesome. I like the start when he comes out of the grave because electric hits the pool where he's getting stabbed in the heart with. And then we go like Frankenstein, comes back up from the dead and to go round killing again. But this is one of my favourite films. It's obviously one of my favourites because it's near the top, but it's definitely one to check out. Here it is at number 1. It's Friday the 13th for the final chapter. Although it wasn't the final chapter, as you would probably guess from watching this video, knowing that there's more than 4 films. But this film is absolutely awesome. It starts off straight away where from the third the paramedics take Jason into the hospital, and he's still alive. He gets up, kills one of the paramedics with a saw, just saw and then twisting his head. That's definitely a good opener to a film. You're like, yes, this is awesome. And it's the start, and all the stuff in between is great, but the end scene's awesome, where his mask gets whacked off. There's a machete that Tommy's got, just whacks the machete right in the side of his face, and then he goes down, the machete like pops up and his face slides down the machete. It just looks awesome. Like, just, I think that's an awesome way to an end of a film. But all of these were just in my opinion, but that one I reckon is most people's pick of the best one, if I could guess. If you can give us a like, a subscribe, that would be awesome. Also a shout out to my mate Floki Wolf 82. Just again, he does stop motion and you need to check out his channel. I will put a link there, and that would be absolutely awesome, and give him a like, and that would be great. We'll see you for my next video, so until then I shall see you later. Bye bye. See you later.